So we're going to start out cutting our chipboard, and if you remember, my chipboard is white on one side and standard neutral color on the other. So I have decided to just cover all of my paper with a base coat of a base cardstock of white, and then I can use my pattern paper on top of that. So it'll be a nice sturdy chipboard album. And cut down, you'll need 6 pieces cut at 5 by 6. So it's 5 going horizontal and 6 inches going vertically. Just want to make sure, yep. So you'll need 6 pieces of those because this will be a 6-page mini album. And then you'll also need some flanges. And I'm using white cardstock since I said my bases are going to be white. You're going to need 5 of these, and these are cut at 2 inches by 6. So you're going to take that flange, and you'll need 5 of these, and then you want to score that in half. So score it 1 inch or down the middle. Okay, burnish that over. Take your double-sided tape and add that to close to the score mark, and then add that on both sides. Okay, and then once that's all adhered, take your scissors and we're going to miter the corners. So holding the paper, this is the mouth, this way, we're going to cut a little angle on the corner on the right, and then flip it over to the opposite side, and then at the right again, so that you'll have two pieces that's like this. And this is so that the sharp edge, the edges don't look funky on the chipboard when you begin to put the pieces together, which is what we're going to do now. So take your first piece of chipboard, and then take your tape off. Okay. And then I'm going to get my HEG tape because I only have tape here. And if you want, you put double-sided tape on the whole thing, but I really want it to be by the binding. And then you can, this little 1/4 inch, I'm just going to use HEG tape for. So we're going to adhere all of the pages together. So I'm going to line it up. It's a bad angle here. This is the side of tape I took off. Add that little strip on the edge. And then I'm just going to line it up on the tip of my chipboard to the other tip. And then take my foam folder and crease that down really good. So if you have any overhang, clip it off. Like if any of this was hanging off to the side, just clip that little piece off. And then you want to take off the other side of your flange. Add your HEG tape. I'll turn this around in a second so you guys can see what I'm doing. So this is your first piece. You adhere the tape here. This is going to be your cover. So we're adhering the tape. We're adhering, this is the sticky. You want to just adhere this back to back. So you're laying it flat. I'm going to try to do it this way where I can see very well. Alright, I'm going to add some more tape. Only because I didn't take my double-sided tape all the way to the score mark. Okay. And then I'm just going to line up my chipboard to my chipboard, sandwiching that paper in between. Whatever way best suits you is how you want to do it. If you do it better standing up so everything lines up, do it that way. I have a tiny little bit of overhang there. So there we have. This is what we have so far. And it looks like mine is a smidge uneven, which I will fix. I'm just going to take my, let me tell you what I'm going to do. It's such a tiny sliver, but it will irritate me. I'm going to take my trimmer, and in case you did it too, this is the same thing. Take my trimmer, make sure everything is lined up with the part that's already angled. I'm just going to take this sliver off. See? Look at this. It's not even It's how tiny the slippery, but it would annoy me, so we have to fix it. So you just want to be careful and angled. It's hard for me to do it. I would really pull it really close to me and look at it, but I can't because the camera's way up there. So, but just make sure you're doing it as close to the edge as possible. If you overhang, it's fine. Nobody's going to notice. So let's do one more, and then I'm going to leave you to it. I already have my flanges that I cut out. Took the tape off, and we're going to go, so that's your book part. We're going to add another piece to the end here. So corner to corner. Take my bone folder, flatten that out. Okay. Take this off. And I'm going to add some ATG tape to the end. Grab my piece of chipboard, and I'll try it this way this time. Maybe that'll work better for me. And then just make sure that's angled. Yep, that works better. Yeah, angle that. I mean, not angled it, but line that up. Boom. So now you have 1, 2, 3. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and add the next ones here, and I will see you guys in a minute. Okay, so your book should look like this when you're done, really flat, and then all your pages should be adhered together with the flanges. Should move fluently like so. So all of my 6 chipboard pieces are adhered. The next thing you want to do, if your chipboard is all white front and back, or all one color the way that you want it front and back, then skip this step. Mine is not, and in order for my, I gotta work. I can't leave it like this. So I am just going to layer my paper. So I cut 10 pieces of white cardstock at 5 by 6, and all I'm going to do is mat it to this chipboard to 1, hide the flanges, and 2, create a continued cohesiveness throughout the album. So I know you're saying, well, you only have to do the brown because you have the white. Not true. First, these 2 whites are 2 different color whites. Second, even though we've mitered the corners here, let's just say I don't put a white piece of paper over that. This is my scratch sheet. So my pages, my pattern paper will be cut 1/4 of an inch shorter all the way around, and I'm adding a little clip. I'm doing some clipping the edges. So let's just say that's like that. You can see this mitered corner here. It just looks tacky, and I don't like it. So if you like that, that is fine. Skip this step. If not, we're going to go ahead and add this cardstock to this chipboard. Plus, if you use lightweight chipboard, this is even better. And make your chipboard album a little bit more sturdier. So all I'm doing is literally adding cardstock to this chipboard. And you want to make sure, I can't see because my head's where the camera's set up. You want to make sure that it's covered. Don't go past the score mark, because then you'll have a problem closing it like you did before. See? Really easy. And see how neat it is? So now, when you do all of that and you put your little paper on here, it's super cute and clean. Okay? So if you're doing this step, go ahead and cover the entire mini album with your 5 by 6 piece of coordinating cardstock, preferably the same color that you used for your flanges. Okay, I've gone ahead and covered all of my album with the white cardstock except for the front cover and the back cover, because those are white and there'll be so much stuff on the front that you won't even be able to tell the difference between that and that. It just was when it was running together you could see. So here is my album all covered. See how clean it looks? I love it. Super cute. So and it didn't take long at all. The next thing you want to do is take out your cover pieces and your side binding. So the cover piece, will be, if you're doing 6x6, just take out 2 6x6. We're going to cut it down, obviously, because it's 5 by 6, so we're going to cut it a 1/4 inch shorter around, but I'm just taking out a whole sheet of paper. So I'm going to use neutral colors for my front and back, because like I said, there'll be flowers and lace and other stuff, and you want to use your good papers for the inside of your album. So I'm using these two for the front and back, and then for the spine, because you'll need a piece that's going to, here, let me show you. You'll need a piece that's going to go around the spine. So like that is how your book will look. I know you probably can't tell the difference between the two right now, but you'll need, you know, a spine piece, or you can just outright, you know, do a pop of color for your binding, because the only thing I plan on adding to the binding is some flat back pearl trim or some ribbon or something, but you can even do that. You know, that was my other option that I was going to do, and it still looks super cute. I also had this other polka dot pink sheet that I was going to do as well, which also looks very cute. But I decided to use those as bases for the inside of my book, and just use these 3 together. So all that being said, take out 2 sheets for your front and back cover, and then a sheet for your spine. Now we're just going to go page by page instead of going through and covering the whole book. So for the inside page here, I'm going to use these 2 sheets of paper. Let's get that out the way. And we're going to save the cover for last. 1, because I like doing that last because it's the funnest to me. So, and then 2 is when you're doing the inside, you don't want to mess up anything that you're doing on the front when you're opening. So this piece is going to be my base. And for this on, you're going to need, like if you're going to do corner chomping, or using just whatever punch you're going to use on the edge, I'm going to corner chomp some of my edges, and you'll need a punch. I'm just going to use 1 punch throughout the whole album. Okay, so I'm going to cut this down to, where did my paper trimmer go? You want to cut this down to 4 4/4 by 4 3/4 by 5 3/4. Whatever piece you're using on this back piece. Okay, so that's just a little bit shorter than 5 by 6, basically. So 5 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then that's going to be your base. And then you want to cut out this other piece at 3 by 5 3/4. Alright. And this is going to go across here. But before we put it across, I want to corner chomp. Save your scraps. We use them for journaling, spots, and things later. The bigger pieces you probably want to save. So the smaller piece, the shorter piece, the one that's 3 by 5 3/4, go ahead and punch out the top, or add some decorative edge, or if you're using scissors, decorative scissors, go ahead and do that. Okay, I probably should have did that over the trash. Let's get this out the way. Okay. You'll also need your foam tape. Yeah, foam tape. Now this part, I'm just going to corner chomp the piece that's going to be sticking out up here, so just one side. And I'm using the 1/2 inch side on my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomp. So this is going to go here, like so. You can even cut that shorter if you want to, if you're short on paper, but put that there. And then this is going to go here. Line that up the best way you can, because this is going to be a pocket, right? So let's go ahead and lay that down. Just using simple ATG tape around the corners, around the edges, and then I'm just going to go ahead and line this, center this. Super cute. And then for this part, it's going to go here. I'm just going to add some foam tape to the sides and the bottom. Let's get off of there. There we go. Again, if you don't have foam tape, you can use hot glue and chipboard, which I am probably going to switch to that in a second. I just didn't bring any in here. Okay. So, oops, be still. So that's like that. So we'll take the backing off. All these pieces. And lay it on, line it up here. Geez, the tape just wants to stick where it wants to stick. And just make sure you give it a good press. Alright. This book will not be flat. I'm just going to tell you that now. It's going to protrude a bit. A lot of it, but it won't be flat. So now you have this really nice pocket that you can stick stuff in. And then you have this really cute border, right? So I'm going to use a die cut from this Girls Papery. It's a die cuts packet. I know it's not the same paper, but it matches. See? It's almost perfect. And then I cut out this from the paper collection. It's a journaling spot. This is also a journaling spot. I'm going to use one of these mini craft bags. This is from the Michael's $1.50 bin. Also from the Michael's $1.50 bin are these paper flowers embellishment from the fall collection. And then I have some random journaling spots in here. Now we can fill that journaling spots. We can fill the journaling spots in later, which we will do because we don't want to waste all of our paper for journaling spots and then we run out at the end. But I just have these left over. They're Prima Delight, I believe, but they're neutral too, so you can always add other collections in. So with this envelope, it's going to fit right in here. Really cute. If you're sticking out and you don't like it like that, which I think my foam tape made it, we can just go ahead, we can cut it down and then add, you can cut it down, you can cut it across, or you can even, if you like this up here like this, you can cut this down and add glue to the bottom, glue or tape, which I'm just going to cut it down. Just going to cut it down a tiny bit and then just add some hot glue, a strip of hot glue in here. Just a little bit because you just need it to close. Press firmly, rub off the excess. That's it. Now it fits. So, before we're rudely interrupted by the foam tape, I am going to add, like I said, this was cut from the paper collection. I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit. Just use the stuff that you already have in the paper. If you can find a way to break it down, use that. It works too. So all I'm doing is adding tape to that. I'm going to have it go across like so. And this little keep calm and plan on, also from the paper collection. Put that way, but I'm going to go ahead and punch. I'm going to add a little 1/4 inch round to it. Yeah, that's cute. I'm not going to pop this up because we're going to have to save some of our dimension for the rest of the book. So I'll lay that flat on there. And then in here, we can put you know, oh my goodness, You know what I'm trying to say. I can't even think. A journaling spot or something to put in there, pictures, or leave as is, or we can stick something out and make it a journaling spot. So I won't do that now. We're going to come back and do that. And I was going to add this here, these flowers. And then that way we can, let me see how that looks, how that feels. Okay. That way we can add, you can add some type of journaling or something. The recipient can add either a photo or some journaling on this little space here. I'm just going to add that there. So you can just put whatever you want there, but I'm going to add this flower. I'm going to add those to the side. Just add a little bit of glue to the back. Off center it. And then a little glue back here. Tuck that a little bit under the leaf. And there we have our first one done. Now, here's some more journaling cards. Let's see here. Like I said, we can always go back and add journaling and stuff with the extra paper. So that's our first page. So let's move on to the second one. Okay, starting out with the next page here, you'll want to keep, your basic, your ATG tape, glue, all of that. For this, you'll need a hole punch, hole reinforcers, one brad, of course your pattern paper, and if you're using something blue, I'm using these 3 sheets here, and then you'll need a punch and some twine or ribbon or jute, something like that, to tie around your brad. So grab your base cardstock. It's going to make a little fold out, and this is 8.5 by 11. I'm going to cut this down to 5 by 11. Okay, and then I'm just going to use this as my scoring tool. So flip your page, set your mark at 4.5, and then score it. And then go ahead and fold that over. And then put it back at 4.5 and score it again. Go ahead and fold that over. Okay. Now if you're going to punch this flap, you don't have to. You want to go ahead and punch it now. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, because the other, my opposite page, opposite this page, has some punch elements on it, so just want to match that accordingly. Okay, let's get these little pieces out the way. So that's what that looks like. Cute little flap, adorable. And then, so we're going to cut our papers down. We will need 3 pieces cut at 4 1/4 by 4 3/4, and that's for, a front piece, and then your 2 inside pieces, and you need 2 pieces cut at 1.5 by 4 3/4, and that's for the inside here and the inside here. So what I'm going to do is use this sheet for my front. So I like this little element here, so I'm going to flip it over backwards so I can make sure I get it in here. And horizontally is the 4 3/4. Okay, and then we want to cut it at 4 1/4. Save that piece. Well, I'm going to save it because I'm using it as my top. So that's going to go here, and then this piece is going to go here. I'm just going to cut it down to 1.5. Let's do that side. 1.5. Line that up. It's hard to see up there. 1.5, and it's already cut at 4 3/4. Should be. Okay. So that's going to go there, just like so. Did I do that correctly? I don't feel like it's, I think it should be a little bit smaller. Actually, we're going to make it 1 1/4. Yeah, I think that one might be a little bit better. Yeah. So 1 1/4 by 4 3/4. So we're going to do that at. So you'll need another piece for that. And I'm just going to cut the inside here. Let's see what I want to do. Just to 4 3/4 by 4 1/4. Leave that there. And then again, I'm going to cut this one down to 1 1/4. That's with the top on the inside. And then one more, 4 3/4 by 4 1/4. Okay. So what we need to do, first I'm going to clear up, I can see now that I need to change my blade. I'm just going to clean up these edges because, you know, I love a shabby, distressed piece of paper, but not every project has to be. And this is one I don't want to be. So, and then let me clean this one up. And all I'm doing is just taking those rough edges off with my scissors. Okay. So before we lay this paper down, I think I'm going to put that one in the middle. Like so. Before we lay that down, we want to punch our hole so that we can tie our brad. It's going to be at this top part. So, here. So, just measure out where you want your hole to be. I'm just going to eyeball it, center it right there. You don't, if you have something smaller, obviously you want to use that. Or if you want to just punch your brad through, you can do that as well. But I'm just going to cover it with paper anyway. And then you want to line it up somewhere down here. So if you have a longer one, then yeah, that's where you want to, a crocodile or something to be able to cut through here. I don't, so that part I'm just going to have to stick my, I do, but I don't have it handy. I'm going to have to stick my brad through. So, let me see, I'm going to mark it first. I want that hole kind of to line up, so I'm going to put a dot there, and that's where I'm going to stick my brad. Just get it ready. And I'm using brads from the Lyric paper collection by Prima. And I'll use these two. I'm using this floral one. That kind of coordinates, and then this one here. Where'd it go? That one. So this tiny one I want to put down at the bottom, where I put that mark at. I'm just gonna find my way to put that. Maybe I can use my pen right now. There we go. Make sure that gets in there real good. Okay, so now I'm going to lay my front piece of paper down. It's this one. Okay. Clean this edge up. Lay that down on here, making sure I keep my borders intact. And then now I am just going to re-punch this hole. Just going to do it backwards. Make sure that lines up perfectly. I'm going to grab my hole reinforcers. I get these from the Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of 5 million. And right around where I punched that hole, I'm going to put this. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my brad and press that down. So this is what you should have. Okay. And now you can lay your back piece of paper here, which I think I was going to do that one. And I'll lay this one down just to cover up any holes or things like that. Get that on there, and then we can go ahead and lay this middle one down. And kind of line it up the best way you can with the previous one. And then now we want to get our brad in here. Let's lay the front of the paper down first. Making sure that's right. Okay. Actually, it was this one. I'm glad I looked. Okay. Center this right on top of here. And then I'm going to follow that hole again. Actually, yeah. I'm going to add my hole reinforcer. Put it up here in the top. And then add my brad. Okay, press that down real good. And now I can add the inside liner. Here. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Now the last thing that we want to do, well, not the last thing, but now we want to add our twine and just slip this underneath the brad and tie it in a knot. Or not a knot, but just tie it. Doesn't need to be a knot. Cut off any extra, and then you'd want to measure out. This is going to slip underneath this brad. So just kind of squeeze it under there. And once you get that lift, then it's already measured out for you. So squeeze it around as long as you want it to be. Cut off the extra. So then you have that. So now the recipient can just tie this around. As much as they want. And then to the back of this, you either want to add some double-sided tape or some ATG tape. I'm just going to add some ATG tape. And that makes your envelope. But before we lay this down, we have to cover our page. So this is what we have so far, and I don't know if I said that I punched this journaling ticket yesterday, or punched the top of that. So we have to lay the paper down. So I'm just going to use one of these brown sheets of paper that I normally wouldn't use on for my background. And then we're going to cut that out. Just make sure that looks good. It does. And I'm going to cut that out to, this is 5 by 6, so it's going to be 5 3/4 by 4 3/4. That's going to go here, and then we just want to round our corners. All right. So we're going to round our corners, and I believe I was using the 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to round the top sides. So sides that's going to go here. Add this. It's going to bug me. Just lay that in here as evenly as you can, and then go ahead and lay down your pocket. And there you have it, a cute little faux flap. All right, let's move on to the next page.